This is BBC Two live at Ascot.
Welcome to Ascot, where Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, enjoyed many of her 461 winners as an owner. She rarely missed her horses running, but far more than that, she showed us all exactly how to react to racing disappointments, and there were many. She was the same in victory as in defeat, great attributes. And as patron of the Injured Jockeys Fund, she was very active in that sphere, and her only orders to her jockeys when going out to ride in the blue and buff colours was come back safely. Well, it's a lovely day here at Ascot. The sun is shining. It's almost like a flat meeting. Plenty of runners for you, and I think the competition's going to be good fun. And that's exactly what Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, would have wanted. She would have wanted the sport to go on, and it does. Well, her trainer and jockey for the last 10 years have been Nicky Henderson and Mick Fitzgerald, and I caught up with them before they went out to saddle for the first race. Well, Nicky, you've had charge of Her Majesty's horses now for 10 years, a lot of victories.
A lot of victories, yes, and a lot of very, very happy days. And actually here as well, I think this was always one of Queen Elizabeth's favourite courses, and here in Sandown in particular. And no, we've just had some remarkable days over the years that we will treasure and remember forever.
Great owners, I was saying, all her orders were come back safely, and of course they came back safely many, many times. Niagara Bay was her 400th winner, which you trained.
Yes, he was. I mean, it was the back end of a long winter, and we were struggling to find one to get the 400, and as you know, we went on from there, and I mean that was in '95, I think. So it was a remarkable. I mean, for any owner to have that number of winners, but you know, over however long a time one went. But I have to say that Peter Caslett and Foot Warwin did most of the work. We only finished it off.
Well, Nicky, I suppose it's too early now, but hopefully you'll be keeping the horses, and hopefully they'll be in royal patronage.
I have no idea what happens. We've got some. The wonderful thing about Queen Elizabeth was the patience and everything. I think we have one particular horse, First Love, that I think Mick would agree that he is I think he's probably the nicest we ever had for her, and I would. Chasing is his game, but even before Christmas she said, no, he must, let's wait, there's plenty of time, and that was her all over, the patience and the love of the horses. And I can just say it was a privilege, it was fun, it was an honour, and we loved every minute of it.
And the same must go for you, Mick, of course. But you know, as well as the victories, the defeats were there. She was brilliant, wasn't she, at both?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. I can remember when I won the Queen Mother Champion Chase on Call Equinem in '99. My very next ride was for her on a horse called Easter Ross, and it promptly went and fell at the first. And I think that probably sums up jump racing, but she accepted it. She knew the pitfalls of the sport, but it was a sport in which she loved, and she gave a lot of people a lot of pleasure just watching her. And all jockeys, when they wear her colours, walked out to the paddock sort of 2 inches off the grass, didn't they? Oh, definitely. It was a great privilege to put on the colours for the first time, and every time I put them on, I really did feel privileged, and it was a pleasure to have any dealings with her at all. She was a wonderful woman. Well, let's hope her legacy lives on, and thank you, gentlemen. Thanks, Richard. And with me now, Bobby McEwen, the vet here at Ascot. And Bobby, you had the privilege of riding the Queen Mother's last winner in a point-to-point at Sittington.
Yeah, it was 10 days ago. I rode Bray-Zamar, or rather I sat on Bray-Zamar to win the point-to-point. It was a steering job really, but it was a great honour, obviously. Lovely horse, fabulous horse, great day.
And it was homebred, of course, at Sandringham, but you've had other horses that the Queen Mother's given you, the Argonaut.
I've got the Argonaut at home still, and he still goes out hunting, as does Bray-Zamar, so I'm quite honoured to have two absolutely fabulous hunters at home.
But the link has been very strong here at Ascot, as in racing generally, Bobby, and I mean, what a great honour it was for you. And Bray-Zamar will go on to other victories, presumably.
Well, apparently she wanted me to ride him again, but whether they'll go on to other victories, I'm not sure with me on top. But she's absolutely thrilled with the horse, and shocked that I was riding it, but there we go, these things happen occasionally.
They certainly do. Well, we wish them all luck and thanks to them. Now, we're going to go down to the winter paddock, the jumping paddock now, where Lord Hartington, Her Majesty's representative, is going to invite the public here for a minute's silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we remember Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. the patron of national hunt racing and a frequent visitor to this royal racecourse. Whatever the occasion, the royal meeting, Diamond Day celebrating the great international race which carries the names of the late King and Her late Majesty, the Christmas meeting which she so enjoyed, or any day when she had a runner. Her presence here was an honor and a privilege for all who shared the day with her. She will always be remembered with the deepest affection and respect. There now will be a 1-minute silence.
Well, we will, as you would expect, be showing you a racing tribute to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and that will come after our first race. Now, we've 4 live televised races for you today, and they start at 2 o'clock very shortly. And we start with the betfair.com handicap hurdle, where we've got a good field here. Scots Grey, number 3, was bred by our own Willie Carson. 2:30, the Grosvenor Casino's Novices Chase, 3.5 miles. Plenty of horses in with a chance here. Henderson, Fitzgerald could win it with Brayburn. Then at 3:05, the Daily Telegraph Steeplechase, 14-year-old Super Tactics, probably the winner here under 12 stone for octogenarian Harry Perry. And then we finish at 3:40 with the Roslyn King handicap hurdle race. There are 9 declared for this. Nigel's Lad comes from the north from Patrick Haslam's yard. Tommy Phelan rides that one. Well, non-runners, happily there aren't too many, and with the ground drying up, that may have been a surprise. In the 2:30 there, Lambrini Prince doesn't run, and in the 3:40, Tribal Dancer is the absentee. Well, the ground here has firmed up a little bit, but I've walked it myself, and I don't think it'll be any danger to any horse. It's perfectly lovely ground, slightly faster in places than others. Well, with first race not so very far away from us now, we do have 13 runners in this, and they're named now by Jim McGrath.
Thanks, Richard. Number 1 is Male Anamu, Andrew Thornton. 2, Tucacas, Tony McCoy. 3 is Scots Grey, Mick Fitzgerald. 4, Bustling Rio, Tom Phelan claiming the 7. 5, Arabian Moon, Paul Flynn. Number 6 is Full Ahead, Robert Thornton. 7, Maximus, Ben Hitchcott claiming 3. 8, Romero, Jimmy McCarthy. 9 is Jaseur, Billy Worthington. Number 10 is Gold Quest, Noel Fehily. 11, Main Frame, Marcus Foley claiming the 5. 12, Laffah is ridden by Barry Fenton. And 13, McCorbay is Jim Cullity. So they're the 13 runners in our opener at Ascot today, the betfair.com handicap hurdle. And with a complete show of betting on our first, it's good afternoon to Angus Loughran.
Thanks, Jim. Scots Grey, the favourite here at 3-1, and pretty solid favourite as well. Main Frame is 11-2. A little bit of support for Arabian Moon. They've done 7-1 in the offices this morning. They've done 13-2 at the track, and it's now 6-1. They're going 7-2 the field here. Incidentally, Scots Grey now the clear favourite, but drifting half a point to 7-2. Bustling Rio is also one of those at 7-1. It's been quite a light betting heat, though. 7-2 this favourite.
Well, of course, we will also be paying tribute to Tony McCoy, because yesterday he rode his 270th winner of the season on Valfonic. This was another typical brilliant ride from McCoy at Warwick yesterday, and gladly, happily, it was for Martin Pipe, the man that supplies him most of his winners. So again, a little later on, we will be showing you and talking to Tony and just sort of trying to get to the bottom of what makes this amazing man tick and keep ticking, we hope, for a very long time indeed. Right, well, we're going to join Peter Scudamore, and today John Hamner's in the paddock to evaluate these jumpers with Skew. Boys, here's the Willie Carson horse.
Yes, this one was bred by Willie Carson, Richard. At Scots Grey, he's won 3 times. He's won over course and distance here, which we'll see in a moment. He seemed to improve when front-running tactics were tried, but in the Imperial Cup last time they went pretty fast over 2 miles, and he came from behind to finish 3rd, and arguably that was his best ever run, 3rd behind Polar Red and Impact. Well, let's have a look at him winning over course and distance here last year. Mick Fitzgerald kicked for home, about 3 out, having made all the running, and he's clear at the second last. He looks as if it's all over here, Scoo, but actually tied up a little bit on the run in.
Yeah, he's a nice type of horse too, isn't he? He's by Terry Mon, type of horse that I really like. I mean, as you say, he's just getting a little bit tired on this occasion, but it was a good run, and he's put up some good performances since then. Notably when he was 3rd to Polar Red and Impact that day, and I thought he stayed on really well that day, and this is a good performance, as you say, and I think he ran a big race.
Mick Fitzgerald going to the post on Scots Grey, who looks in great form. He is a stone higher now than when he won that race we've just seen. The other grey is number 2, Tucacas, Tony McCoy's mount. Tony looking for 271 for the season. Well beaten at Cheltenham in the Supreme Novice Hurdle, Scoo, but a winner twice before that.
Yeah, although he was well beaten, I thought he ran a good race. He was up there for a long way, jumped very well. Probably just found them too good for him that day, but I do think that you can disregard that run to a certain extent, because he was put right in the race, as I say, jumped really well and wouldn't have had too hard a time of it once his chance had gone. Before that, he's run some good races. He's won at Sandown and Leicester, so I think he notes or will be the biggest challenge to Scots Grey.
All his 4 wins have been on soft ground, the 2 in England and the 2 in France. That's the one doubt about him, I would say, here. Much faster conditions here. The next one is number 11, Main Frame, who landed a bit of a touch when winning a handicap at Newbury at the beginning of March. Only won by half a length, but has been pulled up since in bad ground.
Yeah, I would think the ground would be the answer to this horse, wouldn't it? Mainframe, Hugh Morrison's only got a small but select string of jumpers, and he's done very well with this horse by Unforwain, and his performance at Newbury, although he only just won half a length, I thought it was a decent performance, and I think this horse will be held up today, and we'll be coming with hopefully with a late rattle. So we're looking for number 5 now, a horse by Barathea, Arabian Moon, trained by Simon Dow at Epsom. This has had a run on the all-weather to just put him to peak thickness. I think this is going to be one of the questions that we're going to have to answer for today and at Aintree, is how these horses are going to be affected by a long hard season, by the runs at Cheltenham. This horse hasn't had that problem. He's run over hurdles this season when he was back in November, when he was 2nd at Kempton. That was quite a decent run that day. He looks well and big there in the picture, John.
He looks terrific, and the key to him is he must have fast ground. That's why he didn't run between November and February. A short head 2nd on the all-weather recently, as you say, and let's have a look at the betting.
And Scots Grey is the 7-2 favourite with Mainframe at 5-1. They've done 11-2 that. Arabian Moon back out to its original opening show of 13-2. It's 7-1 bar those. Bustling Rio, one of the interesting outsiders being nibbled at in the market. Number 9, Jaseur. They've done the 25s that, and it's pretty tight at 20 and 16 in places. Could be a little outsider to run a big race here. Jaseur, number 9.
There's number 6, that's full ahead. Interesting runner by Slip Anchor, trained by Alan King. Hasn't run for 10 months, but has form on this type of ground.
He's running in a handicap for the first time, but the stable's in good form now. They've run some very decent novices lately. Number 9 is Jaseur. Hasn't won over hurdles, but he has won here on the flat when trained by John Gosden and ridden by Frankie Dettori in the colours of Sheikh Mohammed, and he absolutely cruised in that day, wearing a visor for the first time. And he's run some fair races over hurdles.
Yes, but he's got Billy Worthington on his back today. Billy would be one of the elder statesmen of the National Hunt weighing room. Great admiration for Billy. He's worked very hard. Wouldn't quite have the bank balance that Frankie Dettori has, but he's done very well. All one. That's a horse I like, in the white colours, just gone out there. Laffah, I thought he had a bit of a chance. He's one on the flat, trained by Gary Moore. He's does very well with his few jumpers he has. That's him just gone through the picture again. There is Bustling Rio. It's a horse that's trained up north by Patrick Haslam. He again does well with his horses. Over to you, Jim.
Thanks, Stu. Yes, this field of 13 for our opener in Ascot. Many of these riders uppermost in their mind is Aintree on Saturday, under orders, and they're racing. And the favourite Scots Grey, the first one to step off from the other grade, Tucacas, Tony McCoy, right up in the firing line early. Also very handy in the early stages, Jaseur with the red sleeves as they come to the first, Romero on the extreme right, as they're all over the first pretty safely, and Bustling Rio, a mistake there in the centre in the white jacket, coming to the second, and Scots Grey it is who shows the way from Romero the outside, 2 or 3 lengths away. Then in third is Jaseur on the outside of Tucacas. They're followed next in the field then on the outside of runners by Maximus, and further back is Arabian Moon, the white face on the outside of McCaw. They're followed then by full ahead as they come now towards the entrance to the home straight on the first occasion. Next in the field is Laffah, who's racing on the outside as they round the home turn. Well back in the field, Bustling Rio at this stage from Male Anamu. Then Mainframe, who's second last in the home straight, and last of all is Gold Quest. Heading up now towards the third, Romero on the far side with a blue visor. Comes to it now, lands in front from Scots Grey on the near side. They're 3 lengths to Maximus, followed then by Jaseur. 2 lengths away then Tucacas, who's tucked away in centre field for Tony McCoy as they go over the fourth. McCaw on his outside, followed further back then by full ahead. Arabian Moon with a white face is next from Bustling Rio. They're followed by Laffah, and well out the back is Male Anamu. Then Mainframe, who's second last, and last is Gold Quest. They charge past the judge now. About 15 lengths covers the field, and they leave the judge behind them. Under a circuit to go. Romero out in front by 3 parts to Scots Grey. Mick Fitzgerald has him beautifully poised on the outside in second. 2 lengths away then Jaseur, who's tucked away on the inside, the red sleeves as they swing sharply right-handed now. Heading down the side of the course, Maximus in fourth. 2 lengths away Tucacas. They're followed next by McCaw, and then full ahead from Arabian Moon and Laffah. Bustling Rio is well out of it from Male Anamu. They're followed next in the field by Mainframe, and last is Gold Quest as they come to the fifth. It's Romero who led over it here by a length and a half to Scots Grey, who's just lobbing along in second. 3 lengths away in third then is Jaseur, tucked away on the inside of Maximus as they come now to the sixth. Further back in the field then Tucacas, who was passed by Maximus and McCaw there. 3 lengths away Bustling Rio, followed then by full ahead. A gap to Arabian Moon from Gold Quest, who's made a couple of places from Laffah. Then Male Anamu and Mainframe as they head over the last one down the side, and Scots Grey it is. Scots Grey, who sticks to the inside here, is now dashed into a clear lead by a couple of lengths to Romero. A length away then Jaseur on the inside of McCaw, and Bustling Rio is now making very steady headway on the outside. Tucacas is the other grey, just creeping into the picture now as they go to Swinley Bottom, just on 6.5 furlongs to travel. Maximus is next, followed by Laffah, the spotted cap, the outside. They're a length to full ahead as they're back where they started now, and they start this stiff uphill climb towards home. Arabian Moon well out the back with Gold Quest, Mail Anamu and Main Frame coming now towards 4 out, and Scots Grey on the left of picture, cleared it well from Romero. They're followed then by McCaw, tucked in behind them, who's battling on well from Maximus and Bustling Rio as they come to 3 out. Jaseur is just plugging on at this stage, followed by Full Ahead and Gold Quest, who's made up a lot of ground. Racing up now towards the entrance of the home straight. Tucacas on the second from the right. Tony McCoy has now grabbed hold of the bit and is looming up as a danger, but Scots Grey, the leader on the inside, tackled by Romero. Here comes Tucacas on the outside from McCaw as they round the corner now. Further back in the field then is Bustling Rio and then Full Ahead. They turn the corner now. 2 flights left to jump in the opener at Ascot. Anybody's race. Scots Grey over on the far side, but Tucacas on the near side. The other grey looming up now for Tony McCoy. They're clear then of Romero. Scots Grey landed down in front. There's Arabian Moon, the white face down the outside, battling on well. 1 flight left to jump though. Scots Grey the far side, being grabbed now by Tucacas on the near side. Tony McCoy, he takes it up with 100 yards left to go. This might be number 271 for Tony McCoy. Indeed it is. Tucacas drawing away. A very confident ride by the multiple champion. Tucacas wins as it likes by about 4 or 5 lengths. In second then is Scots Grey, Arabian Moon third, then Romero. They're followed by Gold Quest. Further back in the field, Jaseur, followed next by Full Ahead, a long gap McCaw, then Bustling Rio, Laffah, Mail Anamu, Maximus and Main Frame last to finish. Number 271 for Tony McCoy, and that equals the European record for wins in a season. Peter Schergen, the German jockey, had 271, and it's only a matter of time now before he's got that record to himself. Number 2, Tucacas, owned by Belinda Harvey, trained by Martin Pipe and ridden by Tony McCoy, is the winner. Second is number 3, Scots Grey. The winner 7-1. Not often you'd see a multiple champion, a phenomenon such as McCoy, on a 7-1 winner of the first here at such a high-profile meeting. Second is number 3, Scots Grey, owned by W. Ponsonby, trained by Nicky Henderson and ridden by Mick Fitzgerald. Third is number 5, Arabian Moon, owned by Biley Bloodstock, trained by Simon Dow, ridden by Paul Flynn, and fourth, Romero. But Tucacas is the winner. And let's have a look at the SPs of the first 3 across the line. Tucacas at 7-1, Scots Grey the 7-2 favourite, and Arabian Moon at 6-1.
Yes, from turning into the straight, really, it was just a question of when Tony let Tucacas go. Tony very often comes across to the stand side here and gets the rails, and he's done that again. And from here, he's jumped the second last upsides in front there. And once you really ask Tucacas to go, the other grey, Scots Grey, has no answer for him. It's just as usual. Tony meets his flight spot on. Arabian Moon looked like he was going to challenge, just going to the last there, John.
Yes, he came with a well-timed run, had every chance, but didn't go on as well as Tucacas did. And Tony McCoy was quoted as saying that he was sorry for the punters because his horses always started at much too short a price. Well, this one hasn't. A 7-1 winner.
Fine picture of Mick Fitzgerald trying in vain to catch a rather confident Tony McCoy, having a cheeky glance over his shoulder. And it's lovely to see a horse so happy in his work as Tucacas going past the post with his ears pricked, and Tony McCoy will be hoping that is a good omen for blowing wind in the Grand National on Saturday. And there is Tony McCoy. I saw him in the sauna earlier. He looks nearly as grey as the horse himself. I don't think Martin Pipe is here. I haven't seen him so far, but Martin Pipe, the trainer, will be absolutely delighted with the win of Tucacas. Tony, we just saying, I suspect that the horse handles the ground well, and to keep him going the rest for a few more runs, because he'll win again before the season's out. But as you say, a happy, fine-looking horse, and the grey is always particularly attractive to punters.
Well, Tony McCoy there with winning connections. Belinda Harvey is the winning owner. And the ground here today is drying out. This is the most significant factor for punters. But here's Tony McCoy with Jonathan Powell.
Winner of the first one of the afternoon.
Yeah, she did it well. A little bit disappointing, I should think, at Cheltenham. And she won twice at Leicester and Sandown, stiff tracks over 2 mile. Thought she'd get the trip well enough, and she seemed to handle the ground okay. She's a good little filly, you know. That's, you know, handicapping's probably her job, you know. Being well placed to win another race, you know.
Well, this is your job. Nobody does it better. How is it 24 hours on from breaking that all-time record of Sir Gordon?
It's obviously brilliant to have done it, but it's back to work as normal, you know. And you know, I'm grateful to all the people my age at Dave Roberts and obviously Martin Pipe, who's been brilliant. All the Pipe team, they've been fantastic, and all the other trainers as well. You know, there's been a lot of others, obviously, giving me plenty of winners as well. But I think 177 from 1 yard's unbelievable.
And a few more to come before the end of the week. Hopefully for you, the best of all would be blowing wind on Saturday. Yeah, it would.
Obviously, he's in good form. I schooled him yesterday morning. He's been trained for the race, and no better person to train one for a race than the boss. But very pleased with him. See, I was reading yesterday, there was a little bit of doubts whether he'd stay or not, but he's got every bit of chance of staying as any of the others. So very pleased with him. I wouldn't, to be honest, I genuinely wouldn't swap him. So I'm happy with him.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And here are the SPs of this first race in Ascot, the Betfair.com handicap hurdle. First, number 2, Tucacas at 7 to 1 for Tony McCoy. And Paddy Powers in Ireland will offer 8 to 1 that he reaches 300 winners by the 27th of April. That's the end of the season. Second, number 3, Scots Grey, 7 to 2 favourite. And third, number 5, Arabian Moon. Good each way support for that one at 6 to 1, all 13 round.
Well, we hear from the jockeys that the going is very fast in their opinion, but you know, at this time of year they can still bounce it off it a bit. As we promised you, we have put together at the BBC a racing tribute to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and it starts up at Sandringham, where she's bred so many of her winners.
The Queen Mother's passion for racing always extended far deeper than just the performance of her horses on the course. And she took great pleasure from the foals here at the Royal Stud at Sandringham. This, in recent years, was where the majority of her racehorses started their lives. And she was still planning for the future, with foals at foot that weren't even going to run until the year 2009. On the advice of Lord Mildmay, the Queen Mother's first horse was Monaveen.
Final jump, and with a 6-length lead, Monaveen heads for the home stretch, while Royal Excitement rises to fever pitch.
He was shared with her daughter and carried the colours of the young Princess Elizabeth. But in 1950, the blue and buff stripes with the black cap and gold tassel were inherited by Queen Elizabeth from her uncle, Lord Strathmore. The French-bred Manitou was the first to carry them to victory in the King George VI chase. The bug had bitten, and Devon Loch was one of the early success stories, but his fame rests not with a race won.
Jockey Dick Francis is pushing Devon Loch ahead inch by inch. Eagle Lodge is beginning to tire, but there's still plenty of power in the Royal Horse.
I thought I was winning the race easily, but I could hear this crescendo of cheering building up on the stands at Aintree. There were 250,000 people there that day, and I think 249,999 were all cheering for the Queen Mother.
Into the final straight with victory in sight for Devon Loch. He's clear away from ESB and Gentle Moyer. Only 40 yards to go. Devon Loch can't lose. But he slipped. He's down. ESB streaks past to win by 10 lengths, with Gentle Moyer second and Royal Tan third. Devon Loch's on his feet again, but it's too late. The most tragic defeat in Grand National history.
As we were approaching the wings, you see Devon Lock prick his ears, and as he pricks his ears, the noise hits him. God, what's that? His hindquarters just refuse to act. Down he goes on his belly, slides along the ground. How it didn't fall off him, I don't know, but he got to his feet again. If I could have got him going then, I was still far enough in front of the eventual winner, ESB, to have won the race. But he'd pulled all the muscles in his hindquarters and he more or less collapsed again. And I just had to get off him and walk away. The Queen asked me what sort of a ride I'd had, and I said, well, Mum, it couldn't have been better. I had a wonderful ride, and this was the most terrible thing. And she merely said, she was so philosophical, well, that's racing, Dick, she said. And my goodness, it was racing.
In a letter to her trainer, Peter Caslett, the Queen Mother wrote, "I'll have an ache in my heart forever." It remains one of the great mysteries of the Grand National.
He's now stretching away. The heads are coming off. He's 3 lengths clear. It's Devon Lock 3 lengths clear with 100 yards to go. Devon Lock's he's gone down. Devon Lock has gone down.
Dave Dick streaked past to win the race on ESB and didn't quite know what to say when he met the Queen Mother later.
Because she asked me what I thought when the horse fell down, and I got quite G'd up, you know. I said I was delighted, which I shouldn't have said. You know?
Different theories still abound, but from his perspective behind Devon Lock, Dave Dick has his own view on why the horse suddenly collapsed.
Brian Marshall, who rode for the Queen Mum a lot, he rode him a couple of times, and he always said that he wobbled. You know, there's always... He won on him at Sandown one day, and he said he was pulling up, he had to get got off him because he thought he was going to go over. So there was something wrong with him.
Because people think a lot of it was to do with the noise. I mean,
that's a load of rubbish.
I did hear a wonderful story about the press came down. The press were unusual in those days to come round the yard, and some Burke said, "Could you make it lie down like it did in the National?" And the old man went, "Get him out!" He chased everyone out the yard.
Putting the Devon Lock drama behind them, Peter Caslett went on to train 250 winners for the Queen Mother, ending with Inch Aaron, who put the Aintree record straight under the most successful royal jockey David Mould, but he only just made it to the races.
My brother drove me up, and I fell asleep in the back of the car, and we ended up in the Pennines. He didn't turn off. I mean, it was a nightmare of a journey. And we got there, well, John Oakesy was changed to ride it.
So did you grab the colours off the back of John Oakesy?
I tore them off him a bit quick, yeah. Anyone would have run on him, even Oakesy.
And it's Inch Aaron going to win it for the Queen Mother. He's battling on with Norwegian flag, finishing fast in second, but he's going to hold him. And at the line, Inch Aaron is the winner of the Topham Trophy. Norwegian
David Mould was the most successful royal jockey with 106 wins, but Terry Biddlecombe got his chances too.
I was lucky enough to ride Game Spirit to win the Fairloin Chase at Windsor, and which was one of her favourite horses. And then I went on again at Newbury.
It's Game Spirit bidding for his 5th success here in the Royal Colours. In the lead, Terry Biddlecombe from Potentate and Soldening. Over the last, a beautiful jump by Game Spirit.
Game Spirit won 21 races in total. By now, Fulk Warwin had taken over from the late Peter Caslett as the royal trainer, and their greatest success came in the 1984 Whitbread Gold Cup, when Special Cargo came from an impossible position to win in the most exciting finish Sandown has ever seen. Jockey Kevin Mooney enjoying his moment of glory.
It was a great day. I mean, Fulk, he cried for a week after, I think. Every time I saw him, he was crying. But it was a great occasion.
Special Cargo was one of many favourites, including Double Star, who won 17 races from 1956 to 63. The Rip was spotted as a foal by the Queen Mother, who particularly liked him because he was by her own horse Manitou. She bought him against the advice of her trainer. He went on to win 13 races, was 3rd in the Hennessy and finished the Grand National. Another favourite was the homebred Isle of Man.
Isle of Man still with a fractional advantage. Yes, he lands just in the lead. And he jumps it better too. It's Isle of Man from Concaneur and Persian Cap, and racing into the closing stages. And Isle of Man going away now from Concaneur. And as they race to the line, Isle of Man is going to win it. The hat's going in the air. One for the Queen Mother here.
She's been somebody very, very special to National Hunt Racing for as long as anybody's ever been involved in. As long as I've been doing it, she's been sort of the patron saint of National Hunt Racing, and I think to everybody that even goes racing, she's very, very special.
The Queen Mother received a special award in honour of her contribution to racing, which includes being patron of the Injured Jockeys Fund.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Well, I'm thrilled and delighted
Good.
to be given this award. I never thought something like this would happen to me.
That's very nice.
Very grateful.
Cheers for Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip.
A very fitting tribute, I'm sure you'll agree there. And that rousing reception here at the Royal Meeting was just fantastic. But anybody who's had anything to do with the Queen Mother during her racing life all say the same. She was so knowledgeable and just so loved this sport, which of course she's been so good for. I mean, how many owners may have been encouraged to come into it because she was a patron of the sport? As you've seen, we've just had one race and the winning colours were of Mrs. Belinda Harvey, who's actually in Barbados, but Tony McCoy accepted his prize. Yet another one to go on the sideboard. I should think it would be creaking under the weight of all the glassware that Tony gets, and very deservedly so. But Terry Webb presenting on, or receiving rather, earlier on behalf of Belinda Harvey. Now, Tony McCoy, 2-7-1. How far can it go before the season draws to an end at the end of April? Let's ride with him. Well, we'll be riding with him in the next. It's a novice chase. It's always an exciting race, this, because it's very good money for horses that haven't won over fences. We have got one withdrawal, Braeburn. Obviously, Nicky Henderson decided it was a bit too fast after his horse ran in the first, and that one is out. But we still have a fascinating race for you. Runners and riders named by Jim McGrath.
Number 1 is Barton Bog, Paul Flynn. Take out Braeburn. 3 is Brutini, Jim Cullity. Number 4, Bunratty Castle, Andrew Thornton. 5 is Dear Deal, ridden by Roddy Green. Take out Lambrini Prince. That's a non-runner now. Number 7 is Lord Seamus, Norman Williamson. 8, Lord Yuki, Tony McCoy. 9, Quick Response, Ben Hitchcott. Number 10 is Rufius, Ollie McPhail. 11, See You Around, Sam Strong. Number 12 is Tallow Bay, Marcus Foley. 13, The Extra Man, Robert Thornton. And 14, Wishbone, the mount of Carl Llewellyn. So Braeburn and Lambrini Prince out. 12 to go in the Grosvenor Casinos Novices Chase. And Angus is going to tell us now about the betting.
Wishbone is the favourite at 7-2, with Bunratty Castle at 4-1. That's joint second favourite with Lord Yuki. It's 7-1 Dear Deal, 8-1 Barthos. That brings in the Extra Man. Lord Seamus is a 12 chance. 14-1 See You Around, 16-1 Tallow Bay, and it's 25-1 Rufius. 33-1 Barton Bog, and it's 50-1 The Outsider. Quick Response.
Yes, down in the paddock there, Wishbone. Nigel Twiston Davis, of course, trains this, and he's had a resurgence of late. 2 doubles on Easter Monday and Easter Tuesday after a fairly dry time over the winter. But surely there's no one better to tell us about the health of Wishbone and the other Twiston Davis horses than the boys in the paddock, but especially Peter Scudamore, assistant trainer there.
Well, it's very nice to be able to say it. The horses are running very well, and the horse looks very well, doesn't he? Look at the picture there in the paddock. Lovely type of horse, Wishbone. He's by Lord Americo. I think he's got a great chance today. My one question mark over him would be the fact that he perhaps prefers a left-handed track, but he's got a visor on today, and that should help him. He hasn't got it on yet. They'll put it on in a minute. I hope they do, otherwise he'll be disqualified. But that should help him just jump a little bit straighter than he has in the past. He finished behind Dear Deal at Wincanton, but that was when the horses were out of sorts, and I'm hoping now that they're running really well that this horse that has undoubted ability can put a disappointing season behind him and end up on a good note.
He certainly got the form to win, Scoo. He's been placed several times, and as you say, the stables have run into form. There's probably better to come. Number 4 is Bunratty Castle. This is from a stable very much in form, has been for practically the whole season, that of Paul Nicholls. Bunratty Castle has been ridden by Joe Tizard in recent races. Unfortunately, Joe had a bad fall recently, and the main stable jockey, Timmy Murphy's gone to Ludlow, so Andrew Thornton comes in for the ride on Bunratty Castle, who's been going really well without winning, and last time he was a length second at Wincanton over 2 miles 5 furlongs to Tomich, a 40-to-1 shot.
Yes, Tomich got well beaten the other day at Haydock, so that form was let down slightly. Now going to have a look to see if we can see Tony McCoy's mount, Lord Yoki. He will be looking to hope we get horses look very well, don't they, in the paddock there, all their patterns on their rear ends there all shining. It's make it much easier for the stable staff turning horses out in these conditions.
Number 8 is Lord Yuki, Tony McCoy's mount. Lord Yuki finished second at Ludlow last time out, behind Native Man, who was actually ridden by Tony McCoy, the winner that day. And Lord Yuki was trying to give him £5 in a handicap. Now, Native Man's a very much improved horse, and Lord Yuki did well to get within a couple of lengths of him. This is a novice chase, so he's meeting them all on level terms here, Sco.
He is indeed, and as I said before, he's got the assistance of Tony McCoy. I often think it's a bit of a guide what Tony rides, because in a race like this, without Martin Pipe's representative, he would have a pick of 1 or 2 of the runners, and he and Dave Roberts would have been through the form book and decided that Lord Yoki off this mark would have an outstanding chance. Here is the betting of the 2:30. Number 14, Wishbone, is 4-to-1. Lord Yoki is 4-to-1. Bunratty is 9-2. Dear Deal is 7-to-1. The Extra Man is gone out from 8 to 9-to-1. And Bruzzini is gone from 8 to 10-to-1, 12-to-1 bar. And there is Bruzzini, the representative of Henrietta Knight. Another horse that's run with credit all season without quite getting his head in front. Was behind Bunratty Castle at Wincanton. Before that, ran a good race at Ludlow. Before that was second to Waterbeg at Ludlow. And those are all pretty decent runs.
Yes, 6 lengths behind Bunratty Castle last time. Very good jumper. Number 5 is Dear Deal, ridden by Roddy Green, one of 2 runners of Colin Tizard, who's now with Jonathan Powell.
Well, Colin, Dear Deal, and?
Yes, it's, well, they're both eligible because they haven't won a chase this year, and it's the end of the season, the ground's drying up fast, so they're both here to take a chance.
And different jockeys on 1 or 2 of them here, because your son Joe is in hospital with a very badly broken back. A lot of people are wondering how he is.
Yeah, well, he saw the surgeon yesterday, and the surgeon said, Joe, you're a young man, give it time, stay in bed for 1 more week, and then hopefully you'll have a very active career for the rest of your life. He's good actually. I think the best place for him.
But he's impatient like the rest of young people. He'll be wanting to ride in about a month's time. Are you going to be able to restrain him?
Yeah, I'm sure we can hold on to him. I don't think he wants to go and have a fall on summer hard ground anyway, whatever happens. But yeah, we'll stop him from riding until he's ready.
We're looking forward to seeing him again, and good luck here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear Deal pulled up last time, but probably better on the better ground. It was very soft at Newbury, and he'd run well when second to Chives at Wincanton the time before that, Scoop.
Yes, again, he looks very well. Roddy Green practicing his Japanese, because once the Grand National is over, he's on a flight to Japan to ride in a 1.5 mile steeplechase out there. So I think many have trouble understanding Roddy's English, not alone his Japanese.
Number 13, the Extra Man, is one we're going to have a look at. The Extra Man, trained by Mick, who has mostly flat horses, but this horse has run well over fences. Finished second at Huntingdon to Laffah when Laffah was in top form, and that was a very good run.
He's 10-1 from 9-1. Yes, I mean, Mick Ryan had such notables as Katie's, didn't he? And he's had some good hurdlers in. I remember Osric was a champion hurdle hope, and I think he won the Christmas hurdle one year, Osric. So Mick can certainly produce them over hurdles and fences as well as on the flat. And if this horse, Extra Man, ran to his best, he would run a very big race.
Number 7 is Lord Seamus, trained by Kim Bailey, ridden by Norman Williamson in the green colours. Lord Seamus has been placed several times, including against Lord Yuki. And what sort of chance do you give him, Stu?
Yeah, he has a good chance on his best. He's by Arctic Lord. He should bounce off the ground. I just wonder sometimes. I remember Kim ran a horse at Ludlow called Fanfoamy, and he said he got that horse laid out for this race, and then Fanfoamy went and won, so he's obviously not qualified. So I just wonder if this horse is sort of slightly as an afterthought for this race than actually being laid out. But there we go. We will see in a minute how he gets on. But like they all I've said about them all, he looks very well in the sun.
I thought I must have been picking the wrong horse, because nearly always Kim Bailey's have sheepskin nosebands on, but this one hasn't. Number 11 is See You Around, Colin Tizard's other runner. Has been in quite good form. See You Around running second to Devon View at Chepstow at odds of 50-1, and then second to Royal Event in a handicap at Wincanton. Both those races were over a shorter trip. He had a lightweight in the Wincanton handicap, but he's not without a chance here.
He's not indeed. He's ridden by Sam Strong. Sam has stepped in for many of Joe Tizard's rides now that poor Joe is in hospital. Sam rides very well, and he's attached to the Paul Nicholls stables.
Number 12 is Tallow Bay, yet another one who's been placed several times. Finished a distant second to Roberty Bob in a 2 3/4 mile Toaster novice on soft ground. Have very different conditions here.
That's right. Roberty Bob then went on and won at Uttoxeter the next time. Tallow Bay by Glacial Storm. Gets some very big chasers and some very good chasers. I like the Glacial Storm, and they usually handled it this ground, so maybe we'll see a little bit of improvements on this faster ground.
We're down to 12 runners here, because Lambrini Prince was declared a non-runner this morning, and after the first race Nicky Henderson took out Braben. So if you've just joined us, we're down to 12 here for this Grosvenor Casinos novices steeplechase. 20 fences, almost 2 circuits of the course.
Every year this race comes on, I always used to say this wasn't one of my favourite races of the year, a 3-mile novice chase on the fast ground round Ascot. But anyway, let's have a look, join Angus and see what the betting is, how they're betting on the race.
It's for the field here, Wishbourne and Lord Yuki, 5-1 bar. There's not been much money for anything. It's a very light betting heat down here in the ring.
They're just they're in the middle. Number 3, that's Brutini, just having the final adjustments to the girth. There is Jim Colotti, who has won the Cheltenham Gold Cup this year and rides Brochure Joy in the Grand National, so he'll be looking to pull off a very famous double indeed. I can't think of the jockeys that have... Did John Burke do it with Rag Trade? And,
yes, he did it. And Royal Frolic.
Royal Frolic, so he'll be looking to do the same. I don't think it'll be too long before they're coming into line, Jim. How will they go?
Okay, right.
Well, we'll soon see, Scoo. I was just a little bit put out by the pronunciation there. Bro for joy. I had it down as Brow Joshy. I hope it's a relation. They're coming in. 3 miles the trip here, jumping. Now Wishbone is 7-2 favourite. And Carl Llewellyn in the saddle. He rides Bow, of course, for the same stable in the National. Under orders, and they're racing. Brutini begins at the rear of the field. They come towards the first now, and Wishbone on the inside drives through to take up that early running. From in second, See You Around on the outside there of Dear Deal, who's up in a handy spot third. So they come now to the second, another plain fence. Leader skips over it well. In fact, they're all over safely. Jumping it in fourth then is The Extra Man, followed then by Bunratty Castle back in the field, then Barton Bog as they continue their journey down the side of the course. Further back in the field then is Lord Seamus as they come to the first of the open ditches. Leaders jump it well. Lord Yuki back in the field. Brutini now making a bit of ground around the outside. Rufius is further back in the field on the inside at this stage, followed then by Tallow Bay as they continue their journey down there, and Quick Response is right there in the centre. Wishbone, though, has opened up a good gap on the field here going into Swindley Bottom on the first occasion. Long way to go, of course, over 2.5 miles, and Wishbone is leading by the best part of 15 to 20 lengths. Let's look at the chasing brigade. Leading that group is The Extra Man. From in the third then See You Around. Out deeper on the track then Barton Bog with the yellow blinkers as the leader skips over fence number 5. Further back in the field then Dear Deal on the inside, followed by Lord Seamus and Bunratty Castle. Lord Yuki out the back as the leader clears the sixth and does it well. Back in the field too is Quick Response at this stage, followed on the inside by Rufius and Brutini on the extreme right, and Tallow Bay over that open ditch, which is number 7. And the leader, Wishbone, opening up a big gap on the field, leads by a good 12 lengths at this stage to See You Around, who's travelling on the inside of The Extra Man. There 2 and 3 at this stage, followed then out wider by Barton Bog and then Bunratty Castle. Lord Seamus lucky to survive a bad mistake there. Dear Deal getting through along the inside of runners as the leader rounds the turn now. They've got under 2 miles to travel. Back behind Dear Deal at this stage is Lord Yuki, followed then by Lord Seamus. Brutini, a gap in the field then to Quick Response as the leader skips over fence number 9. Behind Quick Response is Rufius, and Tallow Bay has been pulled up at the rear of the field. Up the home straight on the first occasion and towards fence number 10, and the leader here, Wishbone, has come right back to them, leads only by 3 and brushed through the top of that but landed over it safely. From in second, The Extra Man. Dear Deal being ridden along into third on the inside, followed next by See You Around, and 2 lengths away Bunratty Castle. 1 length further back then is Lord Yuki from Lord Seamus, half a length then to Barton Bog. A long gap Brutini, followed then by Quick Response, who's second last. Rufius is the trailer, and Tallow Bay has been pulled up. Heading down the side of the course, back where they started, just under a circuit to travel, and still the leader here, Wishbone, takes them along at a very good pace for Carl Llewellyn, who will be bidding to chalk up his 3rd national win on Bow on Saturday, having previously won on Party Politics and also Earth Summit. And he went through the top of that. That was a national experience for him. Quick Response has been pulled up back towards the rear of the field. At number 12, though, Wishbone gets out and towards the centre of the jump there, leads The Extra Man, followed in third then by See You Around and Dear Deal. A gap then to Lord Seamus, moving up on the outside of Bunratty Castle and Lord Yuki. A gap then to Brutini as they come to the next open ditch. Wishbone led over it safely. Brutini is only followed by Rufius and also Barton Bog. They're well strung out now as they head down towards the water the second and final time, and Wishbone leads by 4 lengths, clears it well. From in second, The Extra Man. They're followed by Lord Seamus around the outside of Dear Deal, who's still being scrubbed up by Roddy Green. 2 lengths further back then is See You Around, who's tucked away on the inside of Bunratty Castle. 1 length then to Lord Yuki, a gap in the field to Brutini, and forget about Rufius and also Barton Bog. Coming out of Swindley Bottom, 6 furlongs left to travel and 6 to jump in this Grosvenor Casino's novices chase, and it's Wishbone who's still defying them, leads by a couple of lengths. The Extra Man. Then in third is Lord Seamus. Lord Yuki is now starting to loom up for Tony McCoy on the right of picture. In the white sleeves is Wishbone. Ran that one down, went right out to his left there. Bunratty Castle made a mistake as well, but Wishbone is still there with 4 left to jump. Wishbone comes towards it now, runs out to his left, lands from the Extra Man. They're followed by Lord Seamus. Further back then, Lord Yuki is running on pretty well from Bunratty Castle. 3 out now. The Extra Man gets through on the inside with Lord Seamus. Mistake by Wishbone, who's run his race and drops right out. They're followed then by further back at this stage is Bunratty Castle in the centre as they round the turn now, and they've got 2 fences left to jump in the home straight, and Lord Seamus takes it up on the outside. Sprints 2 or 3 lengths in front now. Bunratty Castle, the Extra Man battling on, followed then by Lord Yuki, but Lord Seamus went through the top of the second last, but landed safely for Norman Williamson. It's Lord Seamus out in front here, leads by 6 or 7 lengths. In second then is the Extra Man, followed by Bunratty Castle. Deal and Lord Yuki can't find any more. Only got to jump the last. Lord Seamus does it too. Just dips a little bit on landing, but he's home for all money. Up towards the line, Lord Seamus, Norman Williamson, who'll ride Mealy Moss in the Grand National on Saturday. Up towards the line, Lord Seamus is going to win by a street, wins it by the best part of 15 lengths. In second, the Extra Man, Bunratty Castle third. In fourth, Dear Deal from Lord Yuki, who didn't run on. Wishbone got very weary. Rufius is next. They're followed then by Barton Bog, and behind them is See You Around, and they're the only finishers. Brutini was pulled up. The winner is number 7. That's Lord Seamus, owned by IFW Buchan, trained by Kim Bailey and ridden by Norman Williamson, his 80th winner of the season. Second, number 13, the Extra Man, owned by Extra Man Limited, trained by Mick Ryan and ridden by Robert Thornton. And third is number 4, Bunratty Castle, owned by TJ Hawkins and Partners, trained by Paul Nichols, ridden by Andrew Thornton. Fourth, Dear Deal. The winner is Lord Seamus, though. Norman Williamson comes back here, and a very good winner. In the end, has won it by the best part of 15 lengths. We'll have official distances for you very shortly.
Yeah, as we turn into the second last year, you can see the long-time leader in the background there. Wishbone, his jumping left-handed, has spoiled his chances, but Norman Williamson was always going very well on Lord Seamus. I said that perhaps Kim had planned another runner for this race at one time in Valfonic, and that put me off Lord Seamus a little bit, but this Arctic Lord Gelding has won very impressively, John.
Yes, he's got it won at the last, jumps that really well, unlike Bunratty Castle in the yellow, who crashes through it. Might have been second but for that, but certainly wouldn't have been anywhere near the winner, Lord Seamus, who's finished full of running over this testing 3 miles.
Yeah, fine picture of Norman Williamson just pulling his stick through there to keep the horse on the rails. Saw an article the other day about John Frankham's top 6 jockeys of all time. I wasn't in it, but Norman Williamson was. I shall have a word with John. I shan't play golf with him anymore after that. But no, a very fine rider indeed. We've been singing Norman's praises on the BBC for a long time. Rides a little bit shorter than most, but as you see, when he sees the stride going to the last there, he knows what it's all about. Rides a lot for Edward O'Grady in Ireland, as well as Venetia over here, former jockey to Kim Bailey, did the famous Champion Hurdle and Gold Cup double, but there they are wandering into there's Kim this side coming into the paddock, and a very decent prize to Kim Bailey.
Right, the distances were 20 lengths and 1 1/4. And let's check those SPs. 14 to 1, 10 to 1 and 5 to 1. Norman Williamson, his 80th winner of the campaign, and Kim Bailey, his 33rd, and he's really firing them in now, Kim. There are connections, plenty to talk about after that victory. Ground is drying out all the time here, and jockeys reporting after the first that it's very fast, the ground, and that's very significant for calculations later in the day. So 20 length winner of our Grosvenor Casinos Novices Chase, and Norman Williamson, the winning jockey. And must say, like Skew, I was quite shocked to see that he wasn't in Frankham's top 6. Don't know what he's done. Must be something controversial. John Hanmer just saying he beat him too many times. Well, they were tied, of course, for the championship. First time that Skew actually did have a taste of victory in that title. Later on in the day, 2 non-runners for you, 7 and 8 in the 410. Conquistador and Highland Rose have come out. So obviously jockey trainers and connections are observing these very fast conditions with a degree of caution. Now Kim Bailey, the winning trainer after the 2:30, the Grosvenor Casinos Novices Chase, and he's talking now to Jonathan Powell.
Yes, with me, a Grand National winning trainer in Grand National weekend. It was weather rather like this when Mr. Frisk won, wasn't it?
It was. It was a very hot day and very fast ground, which is what we got today, so long may continue.
How hopeful were you with Lord Seamus here?
Well, he's been crying out for 3 miles. He's been crying out for fast ground, and we had this plan for a while. We actually had another horse in the race, but he went and won a race the other day, so it rather put paid to him. Yes, I mean, it was a race we thought he might finish second and remain a novice for next season for, but not complain, that's sort of prize money.
No. Well, lots of trainers down at the bottom of the handicap in the Grand National are suffering at the moment because a lot of good horses are not going to get in, notably Amberley House. You've got number 43 in the list, Supreme Charm. By my calculations, he's going to get in by 1 or 2.
I hope so. I mean, I know there are 2 non-runners from Ireland. We sit on one other race, really, or one other horse to come out. Obviously, we want him to get in because he wants fast ground. Conditions will suit him this year. The horse is in very good form. It's been his target all year, and fingers crossed, really.
And who rides him? Because I know Robert Thornton, your jockey, has been associated with this horse, and he appears to have been booked for AXO as well. So which does he ride?
Well, at the present moment in time, we're rather sitting on the fence because we're waiting to make a decision once we know what's going to get in and what doesn't get in. But obviously, if I don't get in, he'll ride AXO. So we're waiting 24 hours and see what happens.
And if this horse does get there on Saturday, how hopeful are you of a famous double?
Well, he's got a tremendous outside chance. He went a long way last year. He was favourite for the Topham John Hughes 2 years ago. Norman rode him that day and he fell actually on the flat. He took 2 strides after the fence and fell. He's been around the course twice. He's a cross-country horse. He loves the ground. He stays forever. He ran very well in the Scottish National last year, finishing 6th. He's got a seriously good outside chance.
Let's hope he gets there.
Well, I'd be thrilled, and I hope he runs a very big race.
Good luck, Kim. Thank you.
Thank you.
So confirmation for you, the result in the SPs of this 2:30, the Grosvenor Casinos Novices Chase. First number 7, Lord Seamus at 14-1. Second number 13, the Extra Man at 10-1. And third number 4, Bunratty Castle at 5-1. And let's go to Ripon now for the result of the 2:10. First number 4, Macnaneth at 7-2, and that was joint favourite. Second number 5, Reading, that was the other 7-2 joint favourite. And third number 1, Dispol Pito at 9-1, all 12 ran. And the 2:40 at Ripon, 19 runners here, 19 ran here, non-runner number 18. First number 16, Nautical Star at 14-1. Second number 14, Lost Spirit, also 14-1. Second number 5, Lancer, third number 5, Lancer, 7-2 favourite. And fourth number 17, Mare of Wetwang at 14-1. And Ludlow win for the favourite here in the 2:20. First number 3, Marcus Maximus, the odds-on 10-11 favourite. Second number 2, Fudu at 5-2, and third number 5, Dancing Fosme at 25-1.
Well, being joined by Peter Scudamore, as you can see, and we'll be together, Skew, at Aintree in the paddock there, and sweating a lot over what's going to happen with Smarty and your son. Of course, he rides for my son, so it's going to be a hectic old place.
Yeah, if Smarty gets beat, it'll be your son's fault, not mine.
But we do get very intense there, don't we? You stop breathing.
Well, yeah, it's quite an emotional moment, isn't it, when your horses that you train or family members have runners in the race. It's it's pretty tough to sit there and not jump up and down too much, isn't it? And try and watch 39 other runners.
Yeah. Well, you'll have more to watch, of course. How many will Tristan Davis run?
We've got Beau, who will be one of the favourites. He's in very, very good form. Obviously, the horse is running better now, has encouraged us greatly. He's, as I say, he looks really well, and I think he'll run a big race. Frantic Tan has a chance. He's had a wind operation, or he's had a tube put in his throat. Party Politics had the same, and he was placed in the National, so I'm hoping that it works the same for Frantic Tan. I thought he's very well handicapped, Frantic Tan, and his best. And then Bindery, who's been running consistently well all season, and if he sort of comes along and improves a little bit, he would have a bit of a chance.
So you're going to have a lot to look forward to. OK, we've got Tony McCoy joining us very shortly. He's not here yet. Let's have a look, cast our minds back to Easter Monday, to the Irish Grand National. This at Ferryhouse, and a very good race too. Could be pointers for future races. The actual winner was Noel Mead's The Bunny Boiler. We saw this win at Utoxeter before the Midlands National. But
yeah, very decent horse. Obviously makes the odd mistake. This is them coming up, turning into the straight in a minute, coming up the hill here at Ferryhouse. But he's always travelling very well. It's just his jumping lets him down sometimes.
It certainly does. Well, the Bunny Boiler, trained by Noel Mead, ridden by a youngster we don't know called Ross Geraghty, not Russ Garrity from over here, of course.
He's the brother of the Irish champion Barry Geraghty, so
But at this stage, it didn't look as if the Bunny Boiler was going to win. He's about 6th place there, the blue and the white colours. Give Over, Eddie Hale's horse, is in here. He runs Wicked Cracky in the Grand National, of course, and Northern Sound at 40 to 1. Comanche Court was the favourite skew, but he pulled up. But just coming here to where it matters, the Bunny Boiler starts to come and makes a right. That's 2 out, isn't it? But coming to the last now, you see the Bunny Boiler make a real mistake. Whether he's a national horse, I don't know. Watch this. Just grab. In fact, I still think there's one more, isn't there?
You're not very good at counting towards the last.
He's here in the noseband skew on the outside. Watch this now.
This is definitely the last. Yeah, and the jockey just goes in 1-2, and doesn't quite see the stride as he should have done. But he gets away. Although he's made a dreadful mistake, the photograph actually looks a lot worse than watching the live film. He gets away from the fence pretty quickly and gets away to a good win. As you say, Give Over was 2nd and Northern Sound 3rd.
Yep, well, it certainly was. And the Bunny Boiler, though, Skew, just tell me about that. His jumping, that doesn't look Aintree type for the future, does it?
No, horses improve, and I mean, the other thing about the Aintree fence is that sometimes it makes them have a look and respect fences a lot. But I think if I was riding the Bunny Boiler around there, I'd be very nervous, yeah.
Well, of course, last year's Irish Grand National winner, David's lad, big fancy for the Martel National on Saturday. Tony Martin trains.
Yeah, Tony Martin, very shrewd trainer. Any horse that he sends over here, you have to respect. Just reading in the press that 1 or 2 of his horses aren't running as well as they could be. But you said that about Ferdy Murphy's horses the other day, and he had 7 winners on Monday. So
no, we talk a lot of rubbish, don't we? OK, what about yesterday's race, big race at Ferryhouse? It was the Powers Gold Cup. Now, this could be a Grand National horse. Let's take a check on it now. And the winner is Big and Bold, trained by Jaseur Lyons, who, of course, used to ride over here. Ruby Walsh on board. National horse beats Harbour Pilot and Billy Verdin of Toby Balding's. Truckers Tavern only finished 6th.
Yeah, Billy Verdin's a horse. I'm always on about Billy Verdin in the newspaper and on telly. I like him a lot. And Harbour Pilot, unseated Paul Carberry at Cheltenham. That's him in the red colours there. But he made sort of amends here, run a good race. But Big and Bold is Jaseur Lyons' first Group 1 runner and winner. So Jaseur Lyons was a jockey over here and now doing very well in Ireland, and this was a lovely victory for his mother-in-law, I believe.
Absolutely. Well, as he goes away there to win, Ruby Walsh on board, a great jockey, Ruby, and of course we'll be seeing him in action at Aintree. It's got a big ride there. Fences here, they plenty big enough, as they should be for a Grade 1 course.
Very much. Yes, Ferryhouse always takes a lot of jumping. That's you see just Harbour Pilot in the red, Billy Verdin this side, and but not good enough to beat Big and Bold.
OK, Skew, well, thank you for that, but I want you to clear off now because I see the champion jockey behind me. Tony, come and join us. Thanks very much. How are you doing?
All right, thanks.
A winner makes you feel better.
It does. It always helps.
Well, your record is quite amazing, Tony, because as we all know, falls and everything else makes the season very difficult. But let's have a look at the graphic here now. You can see Tony McCoy 271 wins in this season from 934 rides. That's a 29% straight rate. strike rate even. 2.69s for Gordon Richards back in 1947 from 8.35 wins, and that was 32.2%. Now, Tony, you are a sort of statistician, aren't you? You do take notice of how your stats are.
Well, obviously you do, because you always like to see how you're doing and see if you're having plenty of winners. As for that, I wouldn't even compare it myself personally. I wouldn't even attempt to compare myself to someone like Sir Gordon Richards. Not the fact that he rode 269 winners, but the fact that he was 26 times champion jockey.
That incredibly is something, isn't it? Well, I'm sure you've seen it many times, but let's relive Valfonic winning again, and a typical McCoy ride here. I mean, you've had to get every ounce, haven't you?
Yeah, he dropped in further than we wanted and just took his time to get there. He'd been disappointed, but this was his first run on better ground, and we thought it would help him. We thought it would help him get the trip as much as anything else. And he made hard work of it. I was pretty strong on him and had to, be tough on him, and luckily he got there in the end. But I think the ground probably helped him. He won over, I think he won over a mile on the flat, and it just helped him get the trip a little bit.
Well, because he'd been unplaced 3 times, the stewards naturally, look into the running riding. Now, you were elated here. They keep accusing you of being a miserable old so-and-so, but this did mean something, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Obviously, just for such a small crowd at Warwick, they made plenty of noise and made it a great atmosphere, and, I really appreciate it. But, I can't do it without a lot of people.
The boss wasn't there, Martin Pipe, was he? You were quickly on the phone to him, presumably.
He was. He rang straight away. Magnificent man, never gets the credit he deserves. Winners year after year. He's been going a lot longer than I have, and he'd probably be still going a lot longer whenever I'm finished.
So, what did the boss say?
He was pleased, and I was pleased that I rode. That I managed to do it on one of his horses. You never know. He might even put a photograph up in his house or something. But no, he was pleased, and he was over the moon, and I'm pleased for him, and as I say, he never gets the credit he deserves, and also Dave Roberts, my agent, is a fantastic man and works a lot harder than I do.
But you've got to do it. They tell me you give Pipe a hard time.
But it's as good as you get, really, isn't it? We probably both wouldn't be pleasant people whenever things are not going well. He's actually probably a little bit better than I am, but no, we get on very well together. We've got a good working relationship, and he's a fantastic man to work for. It's everything's always 100%, and there's never any little mistakes.
Well, Tony, besides the winners, there's the others. I mean, 9.35 rides, that's an awful lot. How do you motivate yourself? I mean, you get losers, you're down, you get falls, you're down. How do you keep motivated to the degree you're at?
Well, it's very easy. There's a lot of lads in the weigh room that have to motivate themselves for a lot less, and a lot of horses that are not as good as the ones I'm riding. And also you have to look at the likes of Adrian Maguire and Joe Tizard, who are badly injured at the moment, to realise how lucky you are and how much I appreciate it. I just saw Adrian last night, and it's a frightening sight.
Yeah, it is frightening. But you have plenty of falls as well. No one's invincible, and you seem, God willing, to bounce quite well.
Well, it's got to do with a lot of luck, and hopefully I'll keep injury free, and if I do, hopefully I can keep going for a while longer.
But even when you were hurt and you had all those stitches in your neck, you were playing football a couple of nights later.
I play football now and again. Try not to do it too often during the winter time. A little bit dangerous, but no, it's a good sport.
There was a great photograph in the Post today of Wee Anthony, and Wee Anthony's grown up into one hell of a man. We salute you, Tony, and thank you for coming out to see us today.
Thank you.
Be lucky.
Very much. Thank you.
So Tony McCoy, most marvellous champion, and there isn't anybody on the racecourse. Punters love him, of course, because he wins so many races. But it's just that determination, the continued getting up and doing it all again. Plus, you saw how Wee Anthony has grown. He's a big boy now. To boil his frame down, to be able to ride at 10 stone, when he ever does under 10.5, take the hint, because he has to go through agonies to get it. Well, of course, in my day, a lot of you won't know that I was ever a jockey, but I was when I was hairy, young, muscular, handsome and fit. In my day, the sandwiches we had in the weighing room were sort of curly plastic. Well, today, things have gone on because nutrition has moved on a long way. Let's go back into the weighing room because we have a good story here. Jonathan Powell has been ferreting out the news about what sort of grub they get and who gives it to them.
Well, the days when jockeys used to pig themselves all through the afternoon and then complain that they couldn't do the weight are long gone. today they have nutritional guidance in the weighing room from Matt Stevens, and hopefully they're able to do the weight a little bit more easily.
That's right, indeed. Obviously now the jockeys can go and really think about the riding, and by going out there they can do the job that they're doing, and basically they know that there's something nutritious and nice for them when they get back into the weighing room.
Matt, there's all sorts of delicious looking stuff here, and most of it looks as though it shouldn't put on too much weight.
No,
what are the choices?
That's it. Basically, we have meats with mayonnaise, fruit for the guys that are doing light and little dips, tortilla chips, and then we do a selection of different things. And obviously, the seafood as well is very good for them, because basically that's not really going to put on any weight for them.
Well, you have a bizarre situation where they come out of the sauna, grab a bit of food, and go back into the sauna.
That's right, indeed. Yeah, I think it's all psychological. I think
one of your busiest customers is Andrew Thornton, who.
That's it.
He's looking very hungry and lean here. Normally
yeah.
does about 11.5 stone in the summer, down to about 10.4 at his fighting weight at the best.
That's right. I mean, Matt's done a great job since he came into. We've got him into about 11 racecourses now, and hopefully throughout the time we're going to get him to quite a lot more, because he can be in here every day. The lads are obviously in the winter when they're clouded up to the eyeballs in mud and everything like that. He can get stuff ready for you. If you want a quick cup of tea, he'll bring it round you. Does everything for you, as you can see. We've got everything from. We've got some more food down there. AP's favourite bit of chicken and mayo.
Yeah.
For a jockey, as much when they're on a strict diet, as much of it is in the mind as much as anything else. So if you can just come in and grab a little bit of what you enjoy rather than sticking to a strict diet, but he's got everything from, as you can see, salads to fish to caters for everybody. So he's doing a good job, and like I say, hopefully we can get him into plenty more racecourses.
Dieting's in the mind, Andrew. How easy is it to actually be disciplined?
Well, that's the hardest part. But when you've got something like this, you can have a little bit of what you enjoy rather than stick to a strict diet, which is the main thing.
Amazing, isn't it? Do you know, in my day when men were men, of course, Lucozade wasn't even invented, but we did have the odd port and brandy on the way. When we were wasting on the way to the race, if your tongue was sticking to the roof of your mouth, you knew port and brandy time, and it made you a lot braver too. But of course, they can't do that now with all these drug tests. The alcohol would show up and it would be bingo, off you go on your holidays again. So things have got a very, very different shade of blue since I was a lad. Right, let's move on now. We've got our third race of the day, and it's a decent-sized field, named now by Jim McGrath.
Number 1 is Super Tactics. Robert Walford claiming the 5. 2, Damas, Tony McCoy. 3 is Butcherson, Robert Widger. 4, Chief Song, Paul Flynn. Number 5, Peccadillo, Andrew Thornton. 6 is Ferrers, Aaron Bateman claiming the 7. 7, No Sam, Richard Guest. 8 is Arctic Fancy, Jim Cullity. Number 9, Avanti Express, Barry Fenton. 10, Native Speaker, Jimmy McCarthy. 11, Monte Forte is Marcus Foley claiming 5, and 12, Strong Magic, Robert Thornton. So all 12 go in this Daily Telegraph chase over 2 miles, 3.5 furlongs. And let's have a complete show of betting now from Angus Loughran.
Very open. Arctic Fancy is the 11-2 favourite, with Peccadillo at 7-1. Monte Forte is the same price, 7s. They've done 15-2 and a little bit bigger in the offices on this Monte Forte. So some quite significant support, I feel, for that one. Nosham is an 8-1 chance. Buckerson also 8. Damas is also 8. It's 10-1 bar. Very open at the moment. Arctic Fancy, the 11-2 favourite.
There is number 12 by Strong Gale. He's what's called Strong Magic. Now I think the secret of this race, John, is that they're going to go a good gallop. There's several front runners, and this is one of them. He's by Strong Gale. He's been running on the softer ground than this, but at Aintree we saw him make all under a really fine ride, and I think he could lead them along at a merry gallop. I'm not saying he'll win, but he could affect the outcome of the race. This is at Aintree back in November, and he's just coming to the end of his tether here, but he did jump very, very well, and the ground today I suspect will be even faster than it was at Aintree that day.
Yes, he's just coming to the last now, the long run to the last at Aintree on the mile-make horse. Jimmy McCarthy in the saddle, and he's won over 3 miles and 3 miles 1 in his 2 wins over fences. He's got a shorter trip here He just holds on this occasion under a fine ride.
I thought Jimmy has ridden him a couple of times and put up some very fine performances on him when winning at Huntington as well. Jimmy today rides native speaker for Paul Webber, who he very often has to ride, but he has a very able deputy in Robert Thornton.
Number 5 is Peccadillo. It's Andrew Thornton's mount, one of two trained by Robert Allner, the other one being Super Tactics. Peccadillo, I think, will like the ground screw. He has one on good to soft, but his other 3 wins have been on good and good to firm, and he ran 4th here over this course and distance last time.
That's right, he was well fancied last time, but Trésor Domé came up with a bit of a shock, and before that he won a race at Wincanton, and I thought that was a good performance. He would have every chance, I thought, this afternoon, Peccadillo.
Number 8, Arctic Fancy, the current favourite, though it's pretty open betting here.
Have you watched this horse a lot, John? I just thought he's a funny horse to go and make favourite because he doesn't look as if he always wants to go and win. He's got a string of seconds by his name. I thought at one time I saw him, I thought he just wouldn't go past the horses in front.
He ran a funny race last time at Newbury because he cruised into the lead and then he seemed to be outpaced at the second last. The winner went several lengths clear of him and then he came back again on the run-in. There was only a length in it at the line. That was against Carrick Troop.
Yeah, Carrick Troop would be a decent horse, I suppose. I'm probably being a little bit unfair to him. Good runs before that, beaten by Gunter McBride at Kempton over 3 mile, and Gunter McBride absolutely trotted up that day. That was a very good performance. And before that he was beaten by Dallas Bay and had Samarkand behind him. Samarkand probably isn't the horse that he was in the past. Samarkand won the Grand Annual at Cheltenham, but Arctic Fancy is a 9-year-old now, and by Arctic Turn.
Number 7, No Sam, ridden by Richard Guest. This is a horse that likes to come from behind. The race could be set up for him here. He won on soft ground at Doncaster last time, just getting up to beat Game Gunner by half a length. They were a distance clear of the rest. That was on soft, but he's won quite a few times on good to firm, and he's won 12 in all, 10 over fences.
Yeah, he's by Idiot's Delight. The Idiot's Delight usually like the quicker ground, and I thought that though he only just won at Doncaster, he won with a little bit in hand, and as you've already said, they're going to go a good gallop. He's held up. Guessed his best way of riding. That's unfair, not his best way of riding, but he loves coming riding a waiting race on a horse, doesn't he? And if they go too quick and No Sam's got much left at the end, guess he will just put him in front on the line.
That's how it looks like panning out with him today, going down with Chief Song, and in front of them Strong Magic and Bouchasson in the green colours in the middle of that group. Number 11 is Monet Fort. Now this is a fast ground specialist. He hasn't won for a long time, in fact not for 4 years, but that was on a mark of 122. He's down to 106 now, and he's got his ground for the first time for a while.
Yes, he's a beautifully bred horse. He's another by Strong Gale, and I know people could say to me, why do you keep going on about the stallions, but I do think the breeding so often points as to what ground they want, and this horse is out of a deep run mare, and over the years they have been proven as fantastic sires of mares, the deep run horses. So it's as a lovely big horse, but I just don't think he is at the force of old, but he will be taking Strong Magic along at a good gallop, and again that will suit No Sam. There's Bouchasson. This is a difficult horse to weigh up. I mean, he looked like being a nearly Gold Cup horse at one time, didn't he? He won a decent race at Ayr a couple of seasons ago. Now they're dropping him back to 2.5. I'm not sure that he's fulfilled the potential that he looked like having. I think he was bought fairly reasonably out of a claimer in France, but lovely looking horse, but just hard to weigh up. Would you agree with me?
I do. He's won 3 times over today's trip, which is in his favour. As you say, they tried him over further, it didn't seem to work, but he's had a break since just after Christmas, and Philip Hobbs has done that with a lot of his horses, and a lot of them have done very well over the last few days. He's had a lot of winners with the types that he's given a break to. This could possibly be another one.
So don't put him out of your notebook yet. Buchason.
Number 2 is Damas. Damas hasn't been a winner yet over this trip. Most of his 6 wins have been around 2 miles or just over. He's got to go 2 miles, 3.5 on this ground. He'll have every chance of getting it. Pulled up last time, but in fine form previously in his 5 previous races.
That's right, he's a big drop in class here. He was in the Grand Annual steeplechase at Cheltenham last time, so as we've already seen, Tucacas come out and win from Cheltenham, so can't rule out Damas either. Let's have a look. Should we just have a look what price he is? He's they back 11-2. Arctic Fancy is favourite. Monet 40 7-1. Picadillo 7-1. My tip for the race: No Sam 8-1 and Damas 9-1. They're just fixing final girths. It won't be long before they line up, I think. Just see the starter checking his watch there. And wandering over to the start, and Jim, I think they'll be off pretty shortly.
Yeah, they're coming in, Scoot. Interesting runner, No Sam, your selection. Has been working with Red Arc, Norman Mason's runner, as he attempts to record back-to-back wins. Oh, no, the starter won't have that. They were shouting for quite some time before they came up to the tapes. But it was Peccadillo, Andrew Thornton, just got a bit anxious. And the starter doesn't like things like that. There he is. Takes a very, very dim view. Let's see if they have better luck this time. The strands being dragged across. Here they are, coming in once again. Picadillo is once again up the front. That's it, that was better. Picadillo, the first one to go on in this Daily Telegraph handicap chase. From in the centre, also there Strong Magic as they head over the first. Monet Forte was there as well on the extreme right. Also Arctic Fancy up in the firing line as they come now to the second. And the leader over at Peccadillo on the inside, the left of picture, clearing it from Strong Magic, and out wider on the track is Monet 40. In behind them in the early stages is Damas as they go to the open ditch, number 3, followed then by Super Tactics and Buchason, the green jacket tucked away on the inside. Avanti Express is out very deep on the track. Native Speaker on the extreme left as they clear number 4. Arctic Fancy's just lost a place to 2, preceded by No Sam at this stage as they race up towards the entrance to the home straight. Well back in the field at this stage is Ferrers and Last Chief Song. Into the home straight now, less than 2 miles to travel, and the leader on the far side, Peccadillo, by a length or so to Strong Magic on the near side. Up in third, Super Tactics, the veteran, looking for a handy spot, and then Monet 40 out wider from Buchason. 2 lengths away then Damas, followed by Native Speaker, 2 lengths to No Sam, travelling on the inside of Avanti Express. Then Arctic Fancy as they come to number 6. Leader jumps it like a stag. Well back in the field, Ferrers, and last is Chief Song, who was a bit sticky at that one. Heading up to the judge now, just under a circuit to travel. And the leader here, bowling along, Peccadillo. From in second, Strong Magic. Tucked away, Super Tactics, the 14-year-old, up in third. They're followed next by Buchason, who's travelling on the inside of Monet 40, and in the centre, Damas. They're followed next on the inside by Native Speaker in the red jacket as they swing very sharply right-handed away from the stands. No Sam is there as well from Avanti Express, and Arctic Fancy held up at the back with Ferrers, and half a dozen lengths or so then to Chief Song. Up towards number 7. Peccadillo jumped it like a stag once again, getting in a fraction close with Strong Magic. Super Tactics goes into second. Back and forth then is Buchason, followed out deeper by Monet 40, and Damas in the centre from No Sam as they go over the next plain one. 2 lengths further back Avanti Express, followed next in the centre by Arctic Fancy, and then on the inside Native Speaker, a gap to Ferrers, and still out the back is Chief Song as they come now to the second open ditch, and Peccadillo on the inside being joined now by the veteran Super Tactics, who put in a mighty leap at it. In behind them is Monet 40, the white cap over on the far side, followed then by Strong Magic as they come now towards the water. And on the outside it's Super Tactics, who was the first to rise, touches down just narrowly in the lead here from Peccadillo. 4 lengths away then as they race to Swinley Bottom is Strong Magic, travelling on the inside here of Monet 40 in the white cap. These leaders just getting away slightly. Peccadillo, good shot of him on the inside of Super Tactics as they race out of Swinley Bottom now. They're 4 or 5 lengths in advance of Damas behind them. Then Strong Magic on the inside of Damas from Monet 40, Avanti Express, then Buchason and Arctic Fancy with about 8 or 10 lengths to make up. They come towards the next plain fence, and Super Tactics has kicked away by 4 lengths now to Peccadillo in this Daily Telegraph chase. They're followed next by Strong Magic, and further back in the field then is Damas on the outside from Monet 40 as they race up now with 3 fences left to jump, and the leader on the inside is Super Tactics. Bad mistake by Chief Song at the back of the field, but Super Tactics is the leader. Native Speaker's been pulled up. In second then is Peccadillo, followed by Monet 40 the outside from Damas as they round the home turn now with 2 fences left to jump. Heading up for home in the Daily Telegraph chase of 2002, and on the far side it's Super Tactics by 5 lengths. Peccadillo battling on in second, followed then by in third Monet 40, who made a mistake from Damas, and a long gap in the field then to Arctic Fancy, but it's Super Tactics, the 14-year-old, ridden by Robert Walford, who's out in front here with 1 fence left to jump in this Daily Telegraph chase. Draws towards it now, goes through the top of it, but lands full of running, and the veteran Super Tactics is going to go on and record his 16th win from 73 starts under National Hunt rules. Fantastic performance. The veteran Super Tactics wins it by the best part of 10 lengths. Monet 40 is in second, then Peccadillo third, Photo fourth between Damas and Arctic Fancy, followed next by in the field by No Sam and Avanti Express, then Buchason, behind them Ferrers, who's one of the last to pull up as they cross the line. Also there Strong Magic. Chief Song and Native Speaker were both pulled up. The winner though, number 1, Super Tactics, owned by H.V. Perry, trained by Robert Olner and ridden by Robert Wolford. A fantastic winner, this 14-year-old. Second, number 11, Monet 40, owned and trained by James Adam, ridden by Marcus Foley. And third is number 5, Peccadillo, owned by Dwight Makers, trained by Robert Olner and ridden by Andrew Thornton. 12-1 you could have got about Super Tactics. In fact, that was the SP for Super Tactics, and a big winner he did prove to be in the Daily Telegraph chase. 4th, Arctic Fancy.
Well, I keep writing Super Tactics off because saying he's too old, but he's at 14 years of age. He's proved me completely wrong. And a 12-year-old in Monet 40 has been second, and my tip, No Sam, is probably not quite in the picture there. So I think guessed he thought it was a 5-mile race, not a 2.5-mile race this time for his racing race. But Super Tactics always does well on a right-handed track, and great credit to all the connections of Robert Olner to produce a 14-year-old to win a chase like this.
The Robert Olner pair, Super Tactics and Peccadillo, really led this field a dance. Peccadillo is faded into third as Monet Fort runs on to take second, but Super Tactics gaining his 16th win. He nearly always is drenched in sweat beforehand. I was quite surprised to see him hardly sweating at all, but maybe as he gets older he's getting a bit wiser and taking it more in his stride.
Yes, he's by Fury Glen. A lot of the Fury Glens get it on their toes, but another fine shot of not Mr. R. Walford. He was Mr. R. Walford. He's now R. Walford, claiming 5, and he's taken the £5 off his back, and he's a very good horseman and riding to great effect. And nothing quite like to boost a jockey's career than riding a winner at Ascot on the television.
The distances were 10 lengths and 5, and let's check the SPs now. Super Tactics He did look in magnificent nick before the race, and he's really enjoyed himself, this 14-year-old. Let's have a look now at the full SPs on the Daily Telegraph Chase.
First number 1, Super Tactics at 12 to 1. Second number 11, Monet Forte at 7 to 1. Big race from that one. Third number 5, Peccadillo at 7 to 1.
Well, with me, a very proud owner, Harry Perry. My goodness, this horse has been going around as long as Big Ben.
Yes, nearly as long as me, I think.
And he's 14 now. He hasn't won for 3 years before today.
No, he hasn't. No, he had the wrong ground. That's the trouble. This is ideal ground for him. We thought he might run a decent race today.
He even had a race named after him the other day at Kempton.
Yes, I know he did, yes. But the ground there hasn't been right for him, really.
So, given his recent record, how hopeful were you today, Harry?
Well, a little bit hopeful, because Robert told me he's got him really well up and well fit.
And when you get to this age, you always want to see them come back in one piece. How close do you think you are to retiring him now?
Well, I don't know. I have to ask the trainer now.
He's gone somewhere else. How could you have missed this?
I don't know, I'm sure.
Well, it's a smashing result.
Yes,
I know that stable jockey Andrew Thornton thought, well, I think I'd better ride the other one, Peccadillo, because he's improving. This horse can't improve, but on this ground, Super Tactics is still a really serious racehorse.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. No doubt about it. I think he shook us all really today.
Well done.
No, thank you.
Yes, Harry Perry often watches at home on television, but happy to see him here. He obviously chose the right day to come to see his veteran win. Well, do come back. We've one more race, and that is a handicap hurdle run over 3 miles. I think it's interesting, and I hope the boys will find your winner. We're off to the news.
Turns out your mum and Nigel are a right pair, always getting into trouble.
Like what? Oh, I'm not telling. Not if I want to keep my job.
My wife won't talk about her childhood. What's she hiding?
The Secret, a new 2-part drama, coming soon to BBC One.
A summary of the news now on BBC Two with Matthew Umwaliwala.
Good afternoon. The Duke of York has revealed that the Queen Mother's 4 grandsons will hold a special vigil at her coffin. Prince Andrew said he, Prince Charles, Prince Edward and Lord Linley would hold their silent vigil at Westminster Hall next Monday, on the eve of her funeral.
The Duke of York and the Queen Mother's 3 other grandsons want to mark her passing in a way that befits an historic occasion. After paying his respects at the Queen's Chapel, where her coffin lies, he took time to view some of the flowers that have been left in her memory. He told some of the well-wishers that the tribute his brother Prince Charles had made to their grandmother had expressed all their feelings. But he added that they'd each had an individual and unique relationship with her.
As a part of that uniqueness, we would like to mark that, and at some stage, once the lying in state takes place, the intention is for the 4 grandchildren to perform one of the vigils.
At Windsor Castle this morning, the Earl and Countess of Wessex also took time out to talk to some of the people who'd come to bring flowers and sign the books of condolence. The Countess took particular interest in the cards and drawings that have been left by children.
Politicians have been paying their tributes to the Queen Mother as the English and Scottish Parliaments reconvened. The Commons began with a minute's silence before Tony Blair led the tributes.
She enjoyed life, lived it and loved it to the full. But she showed how it could be lived and loved, whilst not for one moment compromising her commitment to duty.
Well, the leader of the opposition spoke of a woman resolute in the face of danger, whose contribution was different and special.
For the Queen Mother's life was long, well-lived, and for the benefit of many. She was, frankly, the best of us.
Other news now, there's been hand-to-hand fighting between Palestinians and Israeli forces in and around Manger Square in Bethlehem as Israeli forces tighten their grip on the West Bank. Pictures smuggled out of Bethlehem show house-to-house searches by Israeli troops. Many Palestinians are terrified to leave their homes and are cut off from food and water. The teachers' union, the NAS-UWT, has joined 2 other unions in voting to ballot its members on industrial action over demands for a 35-hour week. Delegates at its annual conference in Scarborough voted unanimously for a strike ballot. The votes could lead to industrial action by 500,000 teachers in England and Wales. The defence has begun in the Damilola Taylor murder trial at the Old Bailey. A lawyer for one of the two accused teenagers has suggested that the 10-year-old Damilola may have injured himself accidentally while playing with a bottom. Well, that's it. There are news bulletins every hour on BBC News 24. Fiona Bruce is back with the 6 o'clock news here on BBC One. Bye-bye.
Here we go.
Good afternoon from Points West. More than a dozen firefighters and police officers who are on duty on September the 11th in New York are about to arrive in the West Country. They've been brought over by firefighters at Bristol Airport for a change of scene and a show of support.
A world away from Ground Zero. Bristol Airport's firefighters train every day on this replica Boeing 767, just like the two aircrafts that crashed into the Twin Towers. Since the disaster, they've been fundraising non-stop to bring their New York colleagues to England for a well-deserved break away from it all. They've raised £15,000 to bring over 13 firefighters and 3 police officers to Bristol. Bristol Airport's fire chief even shaved off his moustache to raise money. Other events were fitted in between shifts, like a Guess the Weight of Blue Watch competition. Tonight, they'll be treated to dinner before a few rounds of golf later in the week. They'll also be presented with a cheque for £46,000 for the families of firefighters killed when the World Trade Centres collapsed. Maitri Nandakumar, BBC, Points West.
A man's appeared in court charged with the murder of the 79-year-old pensioner Adelaide Howard at her home in Winterbourne, near Bristol. 24-year-old Matthew Newland from the town arrived in Northaven Magistrates Court this morning, flanked by 2 police officers in the back of the car. He was remanded in custody. Mrs. Howard's body was found by her husband in the kitchen of their home and she'd been stabbed 42 times. School children in Bristol are being given copies of a first aid leaflet telling them what they should do if they find themselves in an emergency. More and more 999 calls are made by children. Now the Avon Ambulance Service is giving them extra advice, including how to deal with burns, bleeding and broken bones. A new riverside woodland is being created in North Somerset thanks to the help of volunteers. The grassland next to the Blind Yo River will be transformed into a new wooded area. More than 2,000 shrubs and trees, including species of oak, white willow, silver birch and goat's willow, are being introduced to the site with the help of the Environment Agency in Clevedon. One of Australia's top puppet acts has come to the West for the Bath International Puppet Festival. It's the 3rd year the event's been held in the city and the first time the snuff puppets themselves have paid a visit. The group's known for its performance at the Sydney Olympics and tonight the giant figures will be at Green Park Station. Well, I wonder what the weather has in store for us. Here's Richard.
Thanks very much, Susan. It's looking good out there this afternoon. I think we're going to find this evening maybe just 1 or 2 showers in the west of the region, but otherwise it should be largely dry. In fact, staying that way through much tonight, though it may turn rather misty later on. And then tomorrow it looks like being more the same. Generally quite cloudy in the west, brighter in the east with some sunshine, pleasantly warm through the afternoon with just a chance of a shower and temperatures heading up towards very pleasant highs of 16 or 17 degrees. Susan.
Thank you very much, Richard. Well, that's it with the Points West team for now. Join us at 6:30 over and 1. Now here's Helen Willets.
Good afternoon. Some real contrasts in our weather today, but in the sunshine, temperatures have soared. 22 degrees Celsius in London is 72 Fahrenheit, not too far away in Leeds, 18 degrees here and 19 in Edinburgh. And the view here in London of just patchy fair weather cloud is fairly representative of many central and eastern parts of the UK. This veil of cloud though in the west, well that's telling another story. It's hiding some patchy rain which will continue to plague parts of central and western Scotland, especially though parts of West Wales and southwest England. But the good news is that through this evening and overnight that rain fizzles away and the cloud will start to break up, and as it does so we'll see it to return to some mist and some fog come tomorrow morning, and that could take a few hours to clear. It'll also be quite chilly at the side of that weather front, particularly so across in Belfast and Northern Ireland. But we'll start the day here on a fine note. After we clear the mist and the fog through the first few hours, plenty of sunshine to come again in eastern areas. But as the day goes on, the remnants of that weather front could just trigger the odd shower in central parts of Scotland down through, say, northwest England, Wales and into the West Midlands. and not quite as warm as today along the eastern side of England, especially because we start to pick up an easterly breeze here, always the exception anyway, North Sea coast, but perhaps 20 around the Nottingham or Birmingham area once again. Very similar picture for a lot of fine weather as we head into Friday, but by then we do start to see a change, a notable easterly breeze picking up and a real drop in temperatures. That's the real change for the weekend. Otherwise, a lot of fine weather is on the cards. Bye-bye.
George Carman QC.
Mr. Hamilton was on the make and on the take.
Have you got any skeletons in your cupboard? George Carman will get them.
He made his name from the personalities he got off and put down.
You have made yourself a stranger to the truth whenever it suits you.
It's rather like facing one of the world's great fast bowlers.
But the public brilliance masked a private turmoil.
Self-destruction, self-hatred, insecurity, the three faces of George.
He'd drink with anybody.
Even rascals like me.
David Suchet brings Carman back to life in Get Carman, reconstructing the trials of George Carman QC, Friday at 9 on BBC Two.
We're heading back to the racing at Ascot now on BBC Two.
Well, welcome back to Ascot, and you know the old rhyme, spring is sprung, grass is riz, I wonder where those birdies is. Well, I can tell you, there are plenty of ducks and drakes around here enjoying the spring sunshine. Now, we've had a very good race, of course. Oh, there they are, ducks and drakes. I can't see at the moment where that's a duck, isn't it? It's a duck, and it's a mallard, and that is the female of the species, and she is happy to be warming her feathers in what temperatures here, I don't know. They could be 17 or 18 degrees today. Well, the next race, of course, is the Rosalind King Handicap Hurdle. This is run over 3 miles. Very interesting here. There is a runner, number 5, Farder Mas, is owned by Mrs. Merrick Francis III. She's not American. It's the 3rd Mrs. Merrick Francis. Well, let's get all the runners and riders now from Jim McGrath.
Number 1, Nigel's Lad, Tommy Phelan, claiming the 7. 2 is Barney Nose, Dean Gallagher. Number 3, Tribal Dancer, a non-runner. 4, Spy Noel, Tony McCoy. 5, Phare du Moulin Ma, Mick Fitzgerald. 4, Mrs. Merrick Francis III, trained of course by Merrick Francis, son of Dick. Number 6 is Mem Saab Office Team, Paul Flynn. 7 is Richter Scale, Norman Williamson. 8, Sister Superior, Marcus Foley, claiming 5. And 9, Sharp Berlin, is Carl Llewellyn. So Tribal Dancer is the non-runner, leaves a field of 8. And let's have a look at the betting. Spy Noel is the favourite at 9-4. Second favourite at 7-2, Richter Scale. Mem Saab Office Team at 6-1. 8-1, Nigel's Lad, Sister Superior and Sharp Berlin. And Barney Nose and Phare du Moulin Ma are both at 10-1. And Angus will be back after his coffee break a little bit later.
There is Spy Noel, the mount of Tony McCoy. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Richter Scale, who perhaps could have been the mount of Tony McCoy, but Norman Williamson rides Richter Scale by Strongale. Some very good form, Richter Scale. His previous run, he won at Wincanton, but next time he ran was back at Wincanton again on much softer ground, and I think the fact that this Strongale horse couldn't handle that ground would be no disgrace, and he has every chance. He's 7-2, and he's had 2 wins over on National Hunt rules. He's won a bumper and he's won a hurdle race.
Richter Scale is running in a handicap for the first time, and all the other horses in the race are fairly exposed. Here's Sharp Berlin, who's had plenty of races, has just won once, novice at Doncaster just over a year ago, but he's been running quite consistently, finished 2.5 lengths second to My Shenandoah over 2 miles 5 furlongs at Market Rasen last time. The mount today of Carl Llewellyn.
Looks quite burly, doesn't he, for a horse that's had quite a number of runs, but that can be just the type of horse sometimes, can be a bit lazy. Trained by John Harris, former jockey and his father was a good jockey and a good trainer as well.
Number 4 is the favourite, Spinel, Tony McCoy's mount, just coming down towards the paddock now. Quite significant that Tony is riding this. He wouldn't ride many for Jamie Poulton, and Spinel ran his best race over hurdles probably last time out, when second of 16 to Bold Investor over 2 3/4 miles. Tony McCoy rode the winner that day, and Spinel came from well behind and looked as if the extra 1/4 mile should suit him here, Scoot.
Very much so. As I was trying to say before, I thought Tony would have had the choice of 1 or 2 in this race, and the fact that he's chosen this would be a pointer in itself. You can just see a very, very small saddle on the top of that, a black number cloth, and I saw Tony in the sauna earlier. He even has to sweat to get down to weights, well, middle weights as high or low, however you want to put it, is 10.7.
Nigel's lad is a game front runner. He's had a magnificent career, both over hurdles and on the flat, trained by Patrick Haslam. He's won over a mark as high as 143. I think Tony McCoy rode him that time at Tucacas when making all the running. He's down to 130 now. He was pulled up last time in November, but he's had a break, and he could run well under good £7 claimer Tom Phelan.
Yeah, I agree with you. Very good rider, Tom Phelan. He hasn't had a lot of opportunities. I think he's attached to John Joe O'Neill's yard. I watched him ride a winner at Hereford. I was very impressed with the way he rode. But Nigel's lad, as you said, has been a decent old campaigner by the sire Dominion Royal, who's by Dominion, and Dominion has proven a great money spinner for the horses by Dominion has proved a great money spinner for Martin Pipe over the years.
And he had a spin over on the flat recently at Doncaster, finished 9th of 15, so that should have put him right.
That's right. He must have been. It must be a joy to own a horse like that. Flat, jumping, fences or hurdles all come the same. There is Phare du Moulin Ma, as Richard pointed out, owned and trained by the Franceses. I remember saying this horse has got no chance one day, and it proceeded to put up a fantastic performance round here, and probably would have won one day when he fell at the second last year. He's returning to hurdles today, but he ran over hurdles last time, but he is better known as a chaser. He is out of form, but I mean, back to a course that he likes well on different ground, he could run a decent race. But lovely big stamper horse, a proper chaser.
Now we can join Richard Pitman, who's talking to Paul Nicholls.
Yes, I've got him on the uphill slope, which makes me look even more of a midget. Paul, of course, big week. The Martel Grand National, you've got Ad Hoc, who's either favourite or joint favourite in certain lists, and Mertzman, but Ad Hoc, certainly the ground's coming your way.
Yeah, he loved the ground. You ran very well in the Scottish National last year on quickish ground. You know, we just need to change it up, really. My record in the National's not exactly great, so we need a change of luck, big change of luck.
Well, statistics are there to be changed. But Paul, I've been in trouble before saying your horse is best on good ground, because of course when he won the Whitbread it was quite soft, but for me he is better on decent ground.
Yeah, it basically goes on any ground. I think the important thing is he needs a trip. All his good runs have been over very nearly 4 miles, 3 miles like at Cheltenham last time we ran at the festival. They go a little bit too quick for him, and you know, I think 4 miles plus where he can just travel and take his time suits him and his style of running.
You've got a good man in Carberry on board. He knows how to go around there in front.
That's right. He came in, had to sit on him Saturday morning. I liked him. They got on okay. I'm sure he'll give him a great ride, and hopefully vice versa.
Okay. And Mertzman quickly?
Mertzman won at Chepstow last time. Great fun horse. I mean, he's sort of a live outsider.
Okay, I've been a bit rude about him this season, Paul, but I'm rude about quite a lot of things, but you know, I thought he was basically disappointing.
Well, he has been. He just took a while. He's had very immature little problems, sore shins and one thing and another. Got his jumping together now. Ran well at Sandown on a second last run, and then he won at Chepstow.
And won well there.
He did win well, and
he was tough, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's not exactly the best handicapped horse in England. And when you're badly handicapped, it's hard to win any race.
Do you get nervy going up there?
very nervous, especially when you got the favourite. I remember 3 years ago, when Double Thriller was favourite and he went upside down at the first. It sort of puts the pressure on. But yeah, we got lots of runners earlier in the week, so we'll try and put for Saturday out of our mind until 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon.
You don't look as if you're having sleepless nights anyway.
Well, touch wood, the horses are all running well at the moment. There are plenty of winners this week, so that does help.
Yeah, OK. Good luck to you, Paul. Keep kicking. Thanks very much indeed. Well, let's catch up with the important news for punters at home. We want to know what's happening in the market.
Well, there's a move here for Richter Scale. 3-1 second favourite, and it's 11-4 with most of the boards I've seen. Very solid, and in my opinion will be challenging for favouritism very shortly. Spinol is the 11-4 favourite, but Richter Scale by far the stronger of the front two. Of the others, not much action really, and Barney Knows perhaps the best of the outsiders, pretty solid at 10s. Sharp Baleen is 8-1, but this race is being dominated by the front two in the betting, and significantly the strength for Richter Scale over Spinol, who's drifting.
Number 6 is Memsab of Esteem. One Steve Gollings is 2 runners. Memsab of Esteem ridden by Paul Flynn. 6-1 in the betting. Has won on good and good to soft. Finished third on very heavy ground at Tucacas the last time behind Vryn. Possibly she might find conditions too fast for her here.
I totally agree with you. I think she's better on ground. Been wrong all afternoon, so nothing to... might be proved wrong again, but she's been a very good servant to Steve Gollings, who trains at Louth. He does very well with his string of horses. As I say, the greys are always very attractive to the racing public, none more so than the great grey himself, Desert Orchid, but you very often get an order for an owner to go and buy you a grey, but I don't think colour makes a lot of difference of what speed they go, do you, John?
It doesn't make a lot of difference, I don't think. As I say, Steve Gollings has got a couple here. The other one being Sister Superior, who's one of the only 2 we haven't had a look at yet. And Memsab of Esteem's just parading in front of the stands, and in a moment she'll turn and canter back towards the 3-mile start.
I suppose, again, already Andrew Thornton would have had the choice of both horses in the last race and got it wrong. Paul Flynn would probably have the choice between the 2 runners of Steve Gollings here today, and has chosen Memsab of Esteem. So, you know, when you're looking for every indication you can to try and back a winner, I think you jockeys get it wrong as well, but you do try and have a look, see what they're trying to ride. There is number 2, Barney Knows, cantering down. Ian Williams trained, ridden by Dean Gallagher rides. There is Spinol is now 11-4 joint favourite with Richter Scale. It's gone from 3-1 to 11-4, and Memsab of Esteem is 6-1, 8-1 bar. Doesn't surprise me. We said Richter Scale is having his first run in the handicap. When I was going through the race before, I was between Richter Scale and Spinol as to which to go for. I went for Spinol purely because of Tony McCoy, but I might have been a bit unfair to Norman there, because Norman would have ridden Charlie Edgerton's anyway, and as you say, Richter Scale could just keep improving. There's Carl Llewellyn just wandering through your picture there. That's Dean Gallagher and Barney Knows just having in the checked colours there, having a look. Richter Scale's gone to 11-4 favourite now. Noel is 3-1, drifted to 3-1, and Memsab of Esteem 13-2. 8-1 bar.
Richter Scale runs in the Decoupage partnership. Decoupage won the Tote Girl Trophy in those colours. Unfortunately, had a fatal fall later on. And Richter Scale is the only really unexposed horse in the field. The only one that would have caused the handicapper for today's race any sleepless nights. All the other horses have had plenty of races, but Richter Scale's run only twice over hurdles, winning the first time before being pulled up in bad ground on his most recent start.
I mean, we're looking at just trying to work out how well he'll stay. I mean, he's by Strong Gale, which is usually speed jumping, but he's by out of a dam who's by Orr, and he was a stayer on the flat, wasn't he, John?
Stayed 2 miles 6, so on the flat, so you can't get any further than that as far as flat racing is concerned.
This is the first time he's tried to go to this trip, so again they'll be, not only will they be looking for a step up class in the handicap, they'll be looking for a step up in class, in a step up in ability and over the distance as well.
Number 8, the only one we haven't seen, is Sister Superior, the other Steve Golling's train runner.
Yeah, her one victory was at Newbury. My son Thomas rode her to win the Mares final at Newbury. She stayed all day that day. She's hasn't had a hard season. I just think with her that the softer ground may suit her.
Certainly seemed to at Newbury. Scoo, heavy ground there.
Yeah, she just stayed that day, I thought, John. There is the other joint favourite, Spinal, with all the gear on. He's got a pair of blinkers to make him go faster and a cross nose band to make him go slower. But it looks as if they're lining up. Jim, over to you.
Coming in. That's it. Under orders and racing in this Rosling King handicap hurdle. 3 miles the trip, and they jump a total of 13. Coming to the first. Leaders jump it well, led over there by Nigel's Lad on the inside of Sharp Berlin with the noseband. Phare de Moulin Mar over on the far side. Tucked in fourth is Barney Nose, followed by Sister Superior and Spinal right there in the centre at the second. In behind them is Mem Saab Office Steam, who's giving them a fair start as they race to Swindley Bottom on the first occasion. Nigel's Lad it is who casts them along by 2 lengths. To in second, Sharp Berlin, a length away then. In third, tucked in on the inside, Barney Nose from Phare de Moulin Mar, a length and a half to Sister Superior, out deep from Spinal. Further back in the field then is Mem Saab Office Steam, and a length and a half to the very heavily supported Richter Scale. And that's the field as they leave Swindley Bottom on the first occasion, starting this long uphill climb towards home. Nigel's Lad in the yellow jacket showing the way here under Tommy Phelan, leads by a length or so. On the far side, Sharp Berlin and Phare de Moulin Mar not that far away. In behind them in fourth then is Barney Nose, and out deeper on the track the noseband, orange cap of Sister Superior. Spinal there in the centre at the fourth. Then the grey Mem Saab Office Steam on the inside, and ridden very quietly at the tail of the field is the very lightly raced Richter Scale, who's been backed off the map today as they race up now towards the entrance to the home straight. Nigel's Lad on the inside shows the way from Sharp Berlin on the outer. Carl Llewellyn a length away then in third is Barney Nose, who's travelling on the inside of Phare de Moulin Mar, a length away Spinal, smothered up in the centre there by Tony McCoy. Further back in the field then is Sister Superior, out deeper on the track from Mem Saab Office Steam, and still biding his time Richter Scale. Up the home straight now towards flight number 5, and the leader to it is Nigel's Lad. Jumps it in good style from Sharp Berlin on the near side. Tucked in third then is Barney Nose, followed then by Mem Saab Office Steam, the grey over on the far side, just getting a bit closer, taking a bit of a tug there as they clear number 6. Further back then is Phare de Moulin Mar on the outside. Spinal smothered up still in the centre. A length and a half further back then is Richter Scale, and Sister Superior has been relegated to last. Only 8 lengths covers the field with a circuit left to go, and 7 left to jump in this Rosling King handicap hurdle. And Nigel's Lad by 2 lengths to Sharp Berlin. A length away then Barney Nose, travelling on the inside. Phare de Moulin Mar out deeper on the track. Spinal right there in the centre. They're clear then of Mem Saab Office Steam from Sister Superior, and still Richter Scale 7 or 8 lengths off the pace and held up at the back. Heading down now towards the first of 3 on this side of the course, number 7 overall, and it's Nigel's Lad for Tommy Phelan, leads by half a length to Sharp Berlin. Leader jumps it well. Phare de Moulin Mar out deeper on the track in third. Barney Nose a bit sticky at that. Followed then by Sharp Noel in the centre, and Mem Saab Office Steam, the grey, pulling away up into a handy position as they clear number 8. And further back then, still held up as Richter Scale with Sister Superior as they head down towards the 9th. And the leader is still Nigel's Lad in the centre with the yellow sleeves. From out deeper on the track, Sharp Berlin. Mem Saab Office Steam in third. followed then by Barney Nose. Spy Noel has dropped back through the field, about to be passed by Richter Scale, but the leader, Nigel's Lad, is starting to get away from them as they race now to Swinley Bottom. Has opened up a gap now of 4 lengths over Sharp Berlin in second. 2 lengths away Memsab Office Steam, followed then by Spy Noel, Phare de Moulin Mar. Richter Scale is still third last, followed by Sister Superior, and Barney Nose has been shuffled right back through the field to last. Well, Nigel's Lad's the one they have to catch, leads by 4 or 5 lengths out of Swinley Bottom the second time. With 4 left to jump, Nigel's Lad going for home. Opens up a gap now of 5 lengths on the field. Sharp Berlin in second, Spy Noel in third. They're followed by Richter Scale, who's now starting to move into the picture on the left, followed further back by Barney Nose as they go over 3 out. And it's still Nigel's Lad out in front here. Nigel's Lad with a commanding break on the field, leads by 8 lengths. Now giving chase is Richter Scale, who goes into a clear second, followed by Spy Noel, who's under pressure. They're followed by Sharp Berlin, a long gap in the field to Memsab Office Steam, followed by Barney Nose. Heading towards the home turn though, he's showing no signs of stopping. It's Nigel's Lad by 10 lengths as they round the corner in the Rosling King Handicap Hurdle. Nigel's Lad has made virtually every yard so far, leads by 10 lengths. Spy Noel, they're followed by Richter Scale, and then over on the far side Sharp Berlin at the second last though. He's not coming back to them. Nigel's Lad, he's about 10 in front. Spy Noel is battling on, won't give up, followed then by Sharp Berlin. 1 left to jump. Nigel's Lad shortening stride, scrambled over it. Spy Noel is running on very well, followed then by Sharp Berlin. But Nigel's Lad, great ride by Tommy Phelan. He's stolen this from under their noses. It's Nigel's Lad, goes on to win here, makes all, goes on to win the Rosling King Handicap Hurdle by the best part of 8 lengths. Spy Noel in second, Photo third, Memsab Office Steam and Sharp Berlin, followed further back by Barney Nose. Richter Scale didn't run on at all. Sister Superior pulled up before the line, and also Phare de Moulin Mar has virtually pulled up. The winner is number 1, Nigel's Lad, gone straight into the winner's enclosure, owned by NC Dunnington and Mark Watson. He's jumped off. Tommy Phelan thinks that this winner, Nigel's Lad, has gone lame. In fact, he's handling him very delicately here. 9-1 the winner as they come in, and he's calling for a bit of assistance. Second,
Tom Phelan was said before, because he's gone along in front, hasn't gone too quick, but from Swinley Bottom has really kicked and got them at it, and just shortened up going to the last year, just crashed short a little bit. Maybe I just hope he's just whacked himself there, and that's maybe the reason he's lame. But really, Spy Noel has run a funny sort of race, was there at the Swinley Bottom and got done for pace from Swinley Bottom up the hill, and then is run on again. But as I said, we said before, I think Tom Phelan is a rider with a big future, and he's ridden a very intelligent race there. He's had a glance round a couple of times and just made sure he's going okay, and he's just going to have a look round there now, and he's won comfortably.
Made every yard of the running. Richter Scale looked as if he'd have a chance, but possibly had pulled a bit too hard early on. Let's hope Nigel Lad's all right.
Yeah, he looks sound enough wandering around there. He's come through that last hurdle and give himself a rap. Sometimes a horse will knock a nerve, like you or I getting a dead leg or something, or a bang on the elbow, and thank God he looks fine there, doesn't he? So it's I said, what a wonderful said beforehand, what a wonderful servant Nigel's Lad has been to the connections here, and it's horrible to see them hurt. And he looks as happy as anything now, doesn't he? I think he's just come through that last hurdle, given a nerve of rack, and he's okay, I think, Jim.
It appears that way, Scoot.